I will now call the last presenter of this session to take the stand. So, Xin-yu Jiang, college student blended online examination acceptance during the COVID-19 epidemic. So please go ahead.
Good afternoon, I'm Xin-yu. Then I will introduce our paper, College Students Blended Online Examination Acceptance during the COVID-19 epidemic. During the COVID-19 epidemic, the Chinese Education Department initiated the suspending classes without stopping learning. To assess students' learning, many schools adopted the blended online examination. In the exam process, students not only should be self-controlled, but also need to have a certain acceptance of the online exam. So this paper explored to the influencing factors of the students' acceptance of the blended online examination, which is helpful to understand the characteristics of the students' acceptance of the blended online examination and to provide appropriate support and service for students. In this paper, questionnaire survey and the structure equation methods were used to explore the influence of perceived ease of use, perceived usefulness, social presence, place presence, and the social influence on students' acceptance of blended online examination. So what is the blended online examination? It's a combination of the teachers invigilate via video conference and the students take the exam remotely and submit it online. First, the teacher and the students first use their own monitoring devices to verify identity and confirm the military status. And then the students use the answer device to take the exam, remote monitoring of the whole exam. The paper mainly includes the following 5 parts. First, determine the research model and the hypothesis. Research shows the students' perception of the technology is a key factor for success in online learning, which can promote students' engagement and satisfaction. In this paper, perceived ease of use represents students' perceived ease of using information technology to take the exam. Perceived usefulness represents students' identification with information technology to improve the exam experience and effectiveness. And the blended online examination acceptance represents students' acceptance to adopt and use the blended online examination. And the imperfections of technology will lead to students' resistance, which will affect the smoothly running of blended online examination. Therefore, this paper proposes that perceived ease of use and the perceived usefulness positively affects students' blended online examination acceptance. And in the TAM model, perceived ease of use positive affects the perceived usefulness. And researchers show that social presence affects online learning emotions and is a significant positive predictor of learning perception, learning engagement, learning satisfaction, and the learning intention. Social presence refers to a student's perception of the existence of other students and teachers, especially the psychological distance from others during the exam process. In the blended online examination, there's a psychological distance between teachers and students from strong zero distance relationship into a weak non-distance relationship. The perception at such distance are often lonely. Social presence can help the students form belonging and identity to reduce the loneliness in the remote examination environment. Therefore, this paper proposes that social presence positively affects students' perceived usefulness and the blended online examination acceptance. Place presence is a subjective and psychological sense. Students who feel a strong place presence tend to value the environment as more personalized and social. In this paper, place presence refers to the student's sense of being in the examination environment, just like in real life. through network video conference, real-life exam situation are simulated, which is expected to improve the acceptance of the students in the blended online examination. And the social influence refers to the degree to which the specific person or the organization influence students, which meaning comes from the people around, mass media, and the government's regulations. In this study, social influence mainly involves the advocacy by the educational department, and the schools and teachers organize students to participate in the exam to complete the learning assessment during the epidemic. Therefore, this paper proposed that social influence positively affects the students' perceived usefulness and the blended online examination acceptance. Then we used the questionnaire survey to collect the data and verify the research model. The questionnaire consisted of 33 questions from 6 dimensions. Each dimension mainly refers to existing maturity skills and modified to meet the needs of this study. And undergraduates in the university in Hubei province were selected as a research objective, and a total of the 760 valued questionnaires was screened out. In the basic information of the symbol as shown in the table includes 6 major and grade percentage. And we measure the model from 3 aspects: construct reliable, convergent, and discriminant validity, as shown in the table. Parameters however scope were existent 0.8, indicating that each structure has a strong construct reliable. And then we use the 3 criteria to evaluate the convergent validity. Indicator factors loading were significant and existent 0.5, and composite available existent 0.8, and average variance extracted exists 0.5. Therefore, all 3 conditions were met. As shown in the table, the square root of the AVE was greater than the correlations between the constructs, except these 2, but they are similar, so these results are considered to have a good discriminant validity. Then we use the structure equation method to assess the model and verify the hypothesis. We use the least fit indices to access the overall good list of fits. Some students suggest that chi-square is between 3 and 5 is acceptable, and other fit indices are in the ideal range. So we should our mentor has enough modern fitting. Then the standardized pi coefficients and pi significance of each hypothesis association in the research model were measured. All other hypotheses are supported, except hypothesis 1A and hypothesis 3. At the same time, the model explained the 71.6% change in perceived usefulness and 72.7% change in blended online examination acceptance. Then we have a discussion about the results. Perceived ease of use have a significant selective effect on blended online examination acceptance. Blended online examination prioritize fluency, logic, and the complexity of system than the ordinary online learning. And combined with the limitation of the data range, so have less results. And the perceived usefulness had a direct positive effect on the blended online examination acceptance. During the pandemic, online exam is a more flexible and convenient, breaks through the limit of the space. And the students are still more accustomed to the close connection with the teachers and the students in psychology and psychology distance in the traditional exam mode. Therefore, social interactions and cognitive communication through video, voice, or others can enhance students' social presence and improve their acceptance of the online exam. In the blended online examination, there is no need for rich and deep communication and interaction between students and the environment, teachers, and other students. Students may spend energy on complete the examination. Therefore, there is no significant regulation between the students place present in the blended online examination acceptance. And the research results show the social influence has a positive impact on the blended online examination acceptance and the perceived usefulness. Online learning is an inevitable solution to the education dilemma caused by the outbreak and spread of the epidemic. The smooth development of the online learning is inseparable from the core of the government and the organization and the planning of the school and the teachers. Later, combined with the technology organization environment framework, our research have some implication. In the technological context, the influence of the perceived usefulness suggests that blended examination provides focus on the technological characteristics, including the logical and useful of the system function design, as well as fluency and ease of use of the online operation. In the organizational context, the influence of the social presence indices indicate that importance of the global atmosphere. Blended examination developer should build a trusting global atmosphere through various communication and interaction channels in the process to enhance social presence. And in the environment context, results show the social influence plays a key role in influence students' acceptance. Attention should be paid to advocacy by education administration departments and the planning, organization, and the implementation of the education department at the world levels. Ensure the validity and the authenticity of the online examination results. And here's some limitation in this paper. The first is the theoretical research model is not comprehensive. The effect of the perceived ease of use need to be further studied, and the influence of other factors on learning's acceptance of the online examination and their localization should be researched later. And the second is the scope of the research objective is not comprehensive enough. With the realization of the online examination, the comprehensive research on students of different grounds and the majors is an important direct in the future. That's all. Thank you for your attention.
Very interesting to see how in different countries, in different contexts, these blended online examination have been accepted of the night we had internally at the university, a lot of discussion about asking students to be on video during the exam, that it was not accepted for different reasons. So we are doing all the exams online, but without a video, unless it's an oral exam with only the examiner and the student, and then the student can maybe turn it on for identification and then disconnect again. So I think that this is another interesting aspect maybe to discuss at some point, how they are there is the technology, and then there as you were saying, all these organizational and cultural factor also. So it would be interesting to see how in other countries this has been addressed and faced.
Yeah.